Good afternoon, Abbotsford residents. I'm Mr. Pelican. I'm running for your mayor to bring the RCMP into Abbotsford on the organized crime. Abbotsford owes the Mission RCMP, a few men, a tremendous thanks, especially me, from the heart, and Abbotsford residents, on an elite establishment and a mob that owned my police force. Never be caught or never be questioned because you're in uniform. I want you to look over my shoulder at that house. That is one of the Abbotsford's largest mob leaders in Abbotsford, the train tycoon himself, Henry Braun. Henry's son was a proving officer in front of the city and partners with his dad on job sites. Henry knew to take Abbotsford first into that house and set for the independent councils and win decisions over the general public. Darren Braun told about it. Darren Braun also brought the pictures. They were lifting the job sites and changing zonings on the general community, Cooper's Farm, and Rom Funka Diverse, and laughing in the face that the community was outvoted and the community didn't know they were rigging. Henry stood to lose, and he went into the city and set up the whole Fisher community plan. I'm running for mayor thanks to the Mission RCMP to bring the RCMP in because it was fraud on Abbotsford taxpayers and they took advantage of the chair to gain. But Henry tried to end my life in broad daylight. He used the top of the Abbotsford police to cover it. Investigators. This is where Olenoff used to go and say there was break-ins and millions of dollars in Henry's safe. For the longest time, the RCMP asked me not to podcast from Henry, Ed's, or Mike's thing. I'm running for mayor. I'm going to lay it down for my community of what they were doing. We need the law, and the law's got it. There is no pass because he's got money. I'm going to do something for Abbotsford, and I want you to hear it clearly. Bruce Banman is one of the best M.L.As, I think, for the BC Conservatives, and he calls a spade and a diamond a diamond. And you know I'm harsh on Bruce because I want Bruce to speak for his community because establishment was owning and rigging against the South Asians. I showed you Dave Sidhu's property insider trading. Dave sat on them decisions as Abbotsford first to rig for Henry Braun. Now they owed him and they were going to lift his land, Dandy Sidhu. A well-organized set-up group. When I learned that from Henry's son, I took it to the RCMP and not to Henry's Abbotsford police. They couldn't do damage control. The RCMP kicked it into high gear for me as a politician and an Abbotsford resident. They did not carry him. They pissed all over Henry's private police force. I'm going to ask Bruce Banman, the M.L.A., to quit being the BC Conservative M.L.A., hang up your hat now, and come back and run for mayor. Abbotsford needs you. This is the only man I know that can really help Abbotsford now because as he runs for mayor, he can. If you run for mayor, Bruce, I'll run for city council or I'll keep headhunting that position. I think it's time. Bruce Banman said, I'm going to come back to Abbotsford. I'm going to come back in and I'm going to run for mayor. There is no better position, no better man that I can ask for. Since David Eby is always appointing his dirty mayor that was doing this in Kamloops. Remember, he went up to there to get the Kamloops mayor out, Hammerhead. David Eby won't answer my call to reinstate Bruce Banman to go into the city till this gets under control. Bruce, Abbotsford residents asked me, Mr. Pelican, can you handle it? I said, there's a guy that I know that I will only step down and acknowledge the fact that he can do this job just as good as I am. And that is the sitting M.L.A., Bruce Banman. I'm asking you, Bruce, Abbotsford residents, need you. Hang up that hat from that conservatives that are fighting and the liberals are in there and everybody else. And what you don't want to be associated with Corky Neufeld after what he's done with Amrit Moran. You want to care about this town like I do. And I believe if you announce that you're running for mayor, you don't have to worry about Vicky Hopes trying to scandal you. Abbotsford's will protect you and Abbotsford voters are. And I'm here to acknowledge that fact. Bruce runs for mayor, I'll run for council. If not, I'm on a head-well course for the law. Mr. Millionaire is going to be dragged before the whole world can see. Rich train tycoon tried to pay himself and get himself out of organized crime with Abbotsford Private Police. I'm live. Downs, Abbotsford, British Columbia, Abbotsford, BC, Henry Braun's house.